Okay, hopefully that worked. I accidentally deleted the original one I created, so hopefully you guys can see me here. Oops, this shouldn't be called the Maxine tote though. I gotta change this to, oh my gosh. Please hold. Just gotta change the name of this. I accidentally deleted the one I had in here already. Aurora. Can't see the chat for a second. Okay. Give me 1 second. One more second. I just got to make sure I got all of this set up correctly so everybody can see it. Oh, goodness. I accidentally double clicked to start and then to end the broadcast. So it gibbled it up on me. Okay. So hopefully that worked. Let me know if you're there. Hi, Rhonda. I accidentally deleted the original broadcast. It started for like 2 seconds and then I deleted it by accident. Oopsies. How are you? I gotta edit the name of this. I have the wrong name on it. 1 second here. How do I have these named? Okay. Okay. Class number 2. There we go. I think that fixed it all. Hi, Diane. All good now? Perfect. So Diane has finished this one already. What did you think of this sew, Diane? Did you like it? And Rhonda, will you be sewing along with me today? Rhonda? Diane? Who's done? Congratulations, Diane, on being the May Beans Peep of the Club winner. Enjoy your Emmeline Bags gift card. So give it about 5 minutes and then we are going to jump right in. My goal today is to get the entire back panel done, and then on the front panel to show you how to do the first zipper section, and then the second zipper section will be homework as well as the lining panels. So I don't think it'll be a full 2 hours. We will see. But yeah, that is my goal for the class today. I think we have a good chance of actually finishing it next week too. It's that fast of a sew. So Coco says hi. Is the lighting okay? It's kind of dreary outside right now. My allergies are just going nuts, so holy moly. Okay, no worries. Diane, how did you like this sew? Did you like making this one? I'm just curious. Ouch. I'd say kick my chair. Lighting's good? Okay, perfect. I look like I need a haircut. My hair's so flat and blah. I'm trying to hold out until like July 15th because I'm getting my family pictures done in August, and then my hair color will be back to sort of this without the roots. You want to make another one? Awesome. What are you going to make your next one in? I know you made yours in the Leopard Luxe by Galaxy Customs for the first one. Can't wait to see it. What color did you do your lining? Hi, Wanda. Wanda, will you be sewing along with us today? I don't think you're making this one, are you? I'm just going to put all of my stuff onto Do Not Disturb. Oh. It's a pretty fast sew. Hey, Diane. Lining's great. Oh, okay, yes, I haven't looked at the page yet. Been working so hard today. I think I'm almost caught up, though. Next week I will be pre-recording the July classes, and then I will be happy once those are done. That's what I'm stressing about the most right now. So I'm giving myself double the work in June to have less work in July, so I have a little bit of time off. Oh, is it cool? What is the temperature here? It's 26 here and it's cloudy. We got lots of smoke coming in from the Clearwater area, I think. I think there's a few fires up the north way. Okay, so far Diane is done. So far it looks like I am... Oh, you are going to make this one, Wanda. Awesome. Excellent, excellent. So give it another minute. So far it looks like I'm sewing along myself today, and you guys are following along. And if others pop in, that's great too. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be a full class. I said this is a pretty quick bag in itself. So my goal, again, if you didn't hear this before, is to get the back panel done and the first pocket section of the front panel, and then homework will be to do the second because it's done pretty much the same way, and then to have your linings prepped however you want your lining pockets to be. Our lining pockets, we do not need to leave an opening in our zipper pocket if you're putting that zipper pocket in. I am not doing the card slots, so you can decide if you want to do the card slots following the pattern. I'm doing my typical zipper pocket and slip pocket. 22 is the perfect temperature, Rhonda. I like the temperature to be between 17 and 23 Celsius. That's my happy range. Not hot and not cold. All right, so let's get started. Let me put us down to the table. So we'll start, split table. All right, we're going to start with the back panel. So that is our pocket. And again, it's confusing because it says front pocket panel, but I'm making this the back of the bag because why would the zipper be in the front? I don't understand. So what we want to do is we want to take our front pocket panel exterior and lining pieces, and we want to put them right sides together, and we're going to clip along the top. This part is going to go so fast. Clip along the top. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to sew across here with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So let me flip us over. There we go. Oops, let me just readjust my camera. I must have bumped it. There we go. How's that? Is that okay? Can everybody see everything okay there? I think that's okay. I hope I didn't just lose internet. Can you guys see me okay? For some reason it has paused on the internet side. Hi, Lauren. Lauren, are you sewing along? We're just getting started with the pocket panel. My lining is a waterproof canvas from Picana. It's 400 denier. Okay, things look like they're going okay. My computer lagged out there for a moment, so I got worried. So we're going to sew these right sides together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Actually don't need this. I chose the waterproof canvas just because I'm using an EB Fuse Heavy for my lining or deckable light type thing. And I just figured this would just give it a little bit more stand-up ability because I'm not using the foam. But the foam, I think, would get in the way of the zippers or make them a little tougher. So it worked really good in my demo bag to do it this way. So that's why I'm choosing to do it as I am. Okay. You're just watching? Okay, let me just back over. Slip table, there we go. Okay, so we have Lauren. Okay, so now, where are my pinking shears? Oh my gosh, my nose will not stop running. Silly, silly allergies. So I'm just gonna take my pinking shears and trim this down. Now that I have Kai scissors, I want Kai pinking shears really bad. Okay, and then we're going to press that seam and we're going to push these wrong sides together. Push that seam nice and tight. Because I can't iron this because I'm using vinyl. I'm just going to finger roll it the best I can and use clips to hold it in place. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry for the sniffles, you guys. Get this nice and curvy. Make sure it's really good because it is a focal feature of the bag. Okay, now this is a thing in the pattern. It tells you can make part of the exterior of full piping. I'm not doing that. I like mine to be nice and flush. I don't want my lining showing through. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to top stitch along here with an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Now if you wanted it to be a faux piping type look, you would just kind of make this up like so, and then you would stitch in the ditch here for your top stitching, and that would kind of give you a faux piping look. I myself don't want that. I want it to just be nice and flush. But you can decide which way you want to do it. There's instructions for both ways in the pattern. Poke that corner out a little more. This corner I gotta poke out a little more. There it is, right there. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and top stitch that. Kathy, that's okay. You can catch up later. I'm just happy you're making it with us. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and top stitch just along that curvy edge. I wasn't sure if I should use this white thread. I didn't have any silver or a turquoise that matched the bag really, but I think the white is okay. I didn't want to go gray because I'm going nickel hardware, but I think the white will be good. Sometimes wish I could have all the thread colors. I have so many, but it never seems to be enough. We don't have much selection up here in Canada. I'm hoping to buy some when it goes so magical, maybe if Kasai is there. I have a couple of her threads and I love them. All right, now the white looks okay. It is hard to... Here's Rhonda. Oh, are they? I don't know. I love these Kai scissors that Anna gave me for my birthday. They're just to die for. So, okay. So that's that all done. Now we want to find our two side panels. I tried to be organized and have everything set out here. So these I have interfaced outside of the seam, interfaced outside of the seam allowance with EB Fuse Heavy. Which is similar to Deckable Light. Actually, I'm not going to use those just yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me find, this is what I want. I want to find my center panel. You don't need these just yet, but they will come into play shortly. All right, so I want to find my top and bottom centers of this center panel. Now, can you imagine if we could all just combine our studios? We'd probably have every color thread, every tool we needed, every machine we'd want, and we could be like a community. On this one, we want to find the bottom center. Okay, and then we're going to put these both right sides up, matching up that center along that side, and it should fit pretty perfectly. We're going to just clip that in place. Am I doing this right? Let me double check something. Place the front, the center panel. I lift up the bottom edge. Okay. So we're just going to clip this in place. We're not going to baste it just yet. Matching up that raw edge. Actually, we probably could have just sewn all the way around this. If you did the faux piping, that's going to make your lining, actually my lining's a little bit shorter anyway, so that's okay. So once you have this somewhat in place and nice and straight, what we're going to do is we are just going to lift this exterior pocket piece out like so and clip it out of the way. And then we're just going to go ahead and sew right across here with 1/4 inch seam allowance, and that's going to help close up that pocket because you can see it's just slightly shorter than what we need it to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that at the machine. I'm not going to flip it over because we all know how to sew 1/4 inch seam allowance, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you'll definitely have to do it this way if you've done a that faux piping, because it will be much, much shorter. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And you can see it's a little bit longer here, but it's the same length as this one. I'm a little uneven. I'm just going to even it up. Okay, and now you can go ahead and clip the sides together again. And it's a little bit bigger. It may have a little bit of a billow. That is what we want. That is okay. If it's too much, you know that get your piece too big. I think I'm okay though. So we are currently on page 15. I'm going to clip across the bottom. Oh my gosh, what's that? I have no idea what that is. Something mystery in my clips. Nice. Yeah, Kais are the best. Okay, so then we're going on to page 16. And we are going to go ahead and baste this all in place. So I'm just going to hop on over to the machine and do that. Just baste around with 1/8 inch seam allowance. Okay, basty, basty. The back panel goes together so fast. All right, so that's what that looks like. So now we are on page 16, step 9. So that's where these side panels are going to come into play. Again, we have our interfacings on them already. Kind of lay them out whichever way they fit. So the longer side, no, yeah, that's right. Going to be like that. What we want to do put them right sides together down each side and clip them in place. Going to do the same with the opposite side, and then we'll go and sew them all at once. Then we're almost done the back panel, believe it or not. Like, it goes together so fast. The front panel, we have quite a bit of marking to do, so it's going to be a little bit longer. And then we're going to stitch down these sides with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Then we're going to push this open so the seam is going towards the side and top stitch along the side seam. Alrighty. I didn't bump the camera at all. We still got good views. Okay. I tend to, because my camera I have sitting right here on my cylinder arm machine. That's how I have it stored on there. And sometimes I bump it with my chair. Okay, so 3/8 down each side. I'm hearing a weird sound outside. I think it's the neighbors. Okay, now before I go any further, I'm just going to make sure my stitches aren't looking stressed out. And they're not. If they were, I would have done a second row of stitching within the seam allowance, but I'm fine. So now I'm going to make sure my seam is going towards the side panel, and I'm just going to finger press it in place and top stitch on the side panel side to hold it in place. Sure my stitching looks good. I can't even see that white thread, so this is really good. I chose well. Okay, and then we're going to do the same for the opposite side. Okay. So I don't know if everybody saw the live today, but the polls for August bags have moved to the YouTube side. So if you can go and place your vote, that would be amazing. Make sure I'm good, and I am. And top stitch. Super easy back panel. I obviously cut this one a little bit long. My cutting's off, but that's okay. I'm just going to trim that up. My foot pedal is squeaky. I might have to oil that. All right. All right. Okay, so I can see here, see what this is where I said my cutting was a little bit off, see? So I'm just going to trim that. Just to kind of follow. That was just from my cutting, most likely. A little bit down here too. So that there is the back panel. So we got our cell phone pocket, and we can set that aside. That is all done. Easy peasy and fast, hey? I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Oh my goodness. All right, so now I'm gonna do one of these pockets with you. Again, this is gonna be such a fast class. We got really fast bags this time, I swear. And we're gonna do these zipper tabs. Oops, I gotta go back. So she has instructions for the zipper tabs on page 11, step 19. So I'm doing the raw edge zipper tab. I've cut mine bigger than what they need to be. If you are doing cotton, make sure you follow the instructions for that, because the way I'm doing this is going to leave a raw edge. Okay, So what we're going to do, and you will do this with your other zipper for homework as well, but I'm just going to do the one. We're going to put this right sides together, and I cut the tabs bigger than this because we can trim it up later. Right sides together, hold it with clips. Do the same with the opposite side. Hold it with clips. But you know what? Let's prep the other zipper at the same time. Sorry for the sniffles. My goodness, I think I need an antihistamine. My goodness. Allergies. I was snuggling my cat though, and I am allergic to her, so that could be the problem. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to sew across these with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Now you want to make sure your zippers do measure the 9 1/4 inches. They have to be almost exact. We want this to be almost exactly 3/8 of an inch. All right, so okay. So 3/8 of an inch. And I'm going to sew these all at once to save some time. Make sure it's staying nice and even. So that's across one. I'm going to bring the other side down and around like this so I don't have to break my thread. Still make sure it's all lined up nicely. Make sure my zipper's staying straight before I sew it. I always go for my zipper teeth once. Bring in my other one, do the same thing. Kind of like chain stitching. Make sure your zipper pulls are on before you do this. Ask me how I know. There's nothing worse than doing this and you forgot to put your pulls on. Okay. And then cut those apart. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this up. Make sure our seam allowance is pointing towards the zipper tab, like so, and then use that as your guide to fold this over, like so. So this will be longer in the back, that's okay. And this should be nice and flush with that seam allowance there. And that's going to give you a nice stiff zipper tab edge there. A couple clips to hold that in place. Do that with all 3 sides. Up and over. Up and over. And then we're going to go ahead. Let's seam allowance to say to top stitch these with. Let me double check. Doesn't really matter, I guess. Stitch with seam ends. Yeah, just top stitch with an 1/8 of an inch. I don't know why I thought it was more, but so we're going to top stitch through the zipper tab across. So again, this is if you're doing vinyl ones. If you are doing cotton ones, make sure you follow the instructions in the pattern how to do that. So I'm going to kind of chain stitch these like I did before. Hi Dexter, you can come in, baby. Here's Dexter. He's not feeling very well. He ate something he shouldn't. I don't know what he ate, but hi baby, come on in. You guys see Dexter there? I don't know if you can see him through the camera or not. Dexter today is 9 months old. It's his birthday, his month birthday. They grow up fast, that's for sure. Okay. All right, so I'm going to cut all of these apart. I don't know where my other little snips went. Hi, Coco. Okay, and then what we can do is we want to trim up this excess on the back. So we're just going to pull this up like this and cut away the excess vinyl to about 1/8 of an inch away from the stitching. Nobody's going to see this side. And then once you've done that on one side, go ahead and you can trim the tabs up to be the same width as the zipper tape, and then do that for the other sides as well. Everybody's still there. The chat's not moving. I just want to make sure I haven't lost connection. And the last one. Oops. There we go. So those are our 2 zippers prepped. Now we only need one for now. We put the other aside and you'll be needing that for your homework. Now we want to do some marking on our pieces. Okay. So let's do our, which one am I going to be working on? Just got to figure out which one I want to be dealing with first. Back top panel, center the, okay. We'll do the marks in a moment. I want to make sure I don't mix up my pieces. Yep, so they're perfect. Okay. So I need a back pocket panel. And the back bottom panel. Just grabbing out all the pieces I need right now. We'll just start with that. Okay, so to mark these pieces, all of the marking measurements are on page 9. So we'll go through and we will mark them all. So, back pocket panel. Okay, back top panel. We'll go down because it's very important that we do not mix up our back top panels and our back middle panels. Now I know it says back because in the pattern this is the back of the bag, but I'm making it the front of the bag because I think the zippers need to be on the front. So on the back top panel on the wrong side, we are going to make some marks. Here's my pen. Again, I don't want to get these marks wrong. So from the top, we want to measure in 1 inch in and a 1/2 inch down. So we want to draw a 1 inch line that is a 1/2 inch down from the top. Now we will need to do some front marking here momentarily, but I'm not going to do that because those marks will wash away with my air erasing pen. So that's why I put on my pattern piece here front marks. So remember to go back to this page and figure that out. So we got 1 inch lines, 1/2 inch down. So that one is marked. And then we want our lining panels, which are these ones. And we're going to mark them all on the wrong side the same way. 1 inch down, 1/2 inch over. Make sure it's the wrong side if you're using a permanent pen like me. 1 inch in, 1/2 inch over. We'll just do marking on all of them at the same time. 1 inch in, 1/2 inch down. Am I missing one? 1, 2, where'd my other one go? 1 inch in, 1/2 inch down. One, two, three. There it is. It's hiding on me. 1 inch in, 1/2 inch down. Now these are so important when it comes to getting those zippers good. To get that 3D effect we want to get in them. All right. So those are marked. Put those aside for now. Whoops. Next on the list, I'm trying to follow the pattern so I don't get confused. Back top panel, which is this one. Again, make sure you're keeping your pattern piece with it. This one we will be marking the front as well later on. So on the back top panel, on the right side, measure down from the bottom edge this time. So we are going 1 inch in from the bottom. Am I doing this right? That's the back top panel. Okay, no. That's for the front side. We don't want to mark those just yet. Back middle panel. Yes. On the wrong side, draw lines 1 inch in and 3/4 of an inch up. I gotta straighten out this line. So 3/4 of an inch up. 1 inch in, 3/4 up, and draw a line. So this is from the bottom. 1 inch in, 3/4 of an inch up. Okay. And we'll do the front markings on that later on. And then we have to do the back middle panel. On the wrong side of the back middle panel. Nope, back top panel. Okay, I'm confusing myself. What is this called? Back bottom panel. Okay, that's the next page. We'll do that. Back middle panel. Okay, I did that wrong. Sorry, guys. Back middle panel. On the wrong side, we should have drew these lines from the top. The bottom parts we will be doing on the right-hand side later. Sorry. Okay, 1 inch down from the top, 3/4 of an inch down from the top, 1 inch in. So I'm going to ignore this line that I just did. I mixed up my panels. Down from the top edge. Oh my goodness. It's the names. They got me so confused. 1 inch in, 3/4 of an inch down. Okay. There we go. And then on page 10 is the back bottom panel. And we want to do 1 inch in. Again, follow the pattern for the measurements here in case I'm confusing you. 1 inch in. And then also from the side, we want to measure in 3/4 of an inch in from each of these short sides. So a horizontal or a vertical line like that. So it should look like that. Same with on the other side. 1 inch in, 3/4 of an inch down. And then 3/4 of an inch from the top. I think I got to go close that door because I can hear my boys talking up there. So that's what that should look like. So hopefully I didn't confuse you too much there. Let me close this door. Okay. So that has our marking all done for us, and you'll see where that comes into play here shortly. All right. So back to page 17. So it says to label the back and top panels and back middle panel. That's what these two panels are right here. It's very important we don't mix those two up. We're going to take our back bottom panel. We're going to find our top and bottom centers. Okay, we're going to take our zipper and we want to mark on the wrong side of our zipper the center. So I'm just going to fold this in half like so. Actually, I could probably take my marking pen. And I'm marking this on the wrong side of my zipper. So I'm just folding it in half. I'm going to pinch there. Just make a mark at that center mark on the wrong side. Flip it over. And then I'm going to make sure that it is definitely centered. Yeah, good. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to lay this down. So our zipper pull, I believe, is going to the left, which it is. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to put this, so my zipper pull closes to the left. I'm going to flip this upside down and match up that center mark. Undoing the zipper helps a little bit here. And clip this in place following that curve. Being careful not to stretch your zipper tape, but this should go around okay. It's a soft enough curve that it's not hard to get it to go around there. Same with the opposite side. Please stop me if I'm not making sense. I would usually use some tape on here, but because it's a curve, I want to make sure it's good. I'm going to just make sure this is definitely centered. And we are. Okay, and then we are going to go ahead and just baste that in place with an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so just baste that in place. I'm actually going to switch over to my zipper foot here. We want these zippers to be nice and straight, and this will help us achieve that. Okay, but we're just basting it with an 1/8 of an inch, just so it holds in place okay. I'm actually going to use my scissors as a little bit of a stiletto. I really need to buy a stiletto. Holding out for Sew Magical Expo because I want one of those fancy ones. But I don't want to pay the shipping on it. So I will buy it there. Dexter says hi. But I mean, snips help. They can be a stiletto too. Okay. Okay, so that's what that looks like. You can see it's going to be closing to the left, which is what we want. Next, we want to take one of our back pocket panels. We want to find the top center of this. Like so. And we want to put this right sides together, like so. Match up that center snip line and clip in place. Okay, I forgot that on these pieces we need to mark that 3/4 of an inch in from the side. I think I did it on the wrong piece, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. 3/4 of an inch in from each of those sides. And then I'm going to double check that I actually marked that back panel right. 3/4 of an inch before I go further, because I think I mixed up my pieces again. Let me double check. Back bottom panel. Oh yeah, we're supposed to do it on both of them. One inch down. Did I do 3/4 of an inch? Okay, so on the back of these ones, they should be 3/4 of an inch down. Sorry about that, you guys. Again, follow the measurements in the pattern. I obviously mixed it up with something. I'm not too sure what I did there. Back top panel, lining panels. I'm just double checking something. Oh, I see what I did. I did the lining panel measurements on these, which are the main lining panels. These are different linings. So I'm just going to go ahead and remark these. 1 inch in, 3/4 of an inch down. We want to mark it just like we marked this back panel. And then 3/4 of an inch in. 1 inch in, 3/4 of an inch down, 3/4 of an inch in. And I'm just going to go scribble through those so I don't see them. And I said the marking is so important in this. I hate marking, but I'm going to make sure that one goes away. But you really can't skip it in this case, and you want to make sure it's right. So the lining panels, you would mark the same, just like we marked these ones. So make sure, we'll do that later. You'll see. Sorry, didn't mean to mix you guys up. Okay, now we're good to go. So now what we're going to do is we are going to sew across here, but those 3/4 of an inch lines we did into it right here. We're only going to sew between those lines with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. So from this line to this line. So you'll see that 3/4 of an inch line will pretty much line up with our zipper tab. Okay, and we want to go 3/8 of an inch right there. And then just follow the curve around. You want to get the seam as straight as you can so we don't have a wavy zipper. All the way across to that other marking. Okay. We'll take this back to the table and we're going to do some more marking. But marking is worth it. Okay, so this is what that looks like. You see where my stitching is in between those ends. So now we're going to open the top panel such that the round sides are facing up and the stitch seam is in between. Okay, so we're going to kind of flip it out like so. Okay, and what we want to do is on this exterior side, we don't want to use tape here, but we are going to fold this unsewn part down to that line, like so. And we're going to hold that with the clip. You will see why soon. Same with this other side on the exterior piece. take this unsewn part and fold it down to that line that we made the mark on. Like so. Now for the lining side, we can do it a little bit different because we can use some double-sided tape to hold it in place, or glue, whichever you prefer. I had a started thing of double-sided tape, but it's not. My tape drawer is a disaster. So we're going to do the same on this one here. We're going to fold it down, make sure we're going down to where we need it to be. Yep. And we're going to stick that in place on the lining parts. I'm just going to put my glue tape there. Oh, I shouldn't be using my Kai scissors to cut this. Just make sure my measurement was right, and it was. Okay. And then we can fold that lining side down to that line best that you can, like so, and that tape will hold it in place. So it'll look something like that, and this side will be clipped. And then you want to flip this over. Might help to do up the zipper here. And we are going to finger press this best that we can. You can always take this to the iron. Just be careful not to melt your vinyl. I'm just going to finger press it. This Picana is pretty stiff and easy to finger press. Okay, again, making sure this is clipped and that those edges are staying taped under. You will see why that is. We don't want any raw edges there. So this is really cool. Look how good that zipper looks there. Now what we want to do is we want to make a mark. I'm going to use my silver pen actually. And from these zipper tabs, you're going to make, on this one, you're going to make a mark 1/4 of an inch to the left of it, of the zipper tab. So right here. And on this side, 1/4 of an inch to the right. I can't see that. Let's use this pen. There and there. And I'm going to pull my threads long. I'm not going to backstitch because we will finish this top stitch off later on. We just want to have a nice seamless line without that backstitch. If you want to backstitch, you definitely can, but I'm going to pull my threads long and pull my threads to the back, and then top stitch from this mark to this mark. And over here, I'm actually going to pull my threads long and pull my thread to the back as well. All making sure that your lining is staying away from the zipper, and we're top stitching all of that in place. Okay. All right. So pulling my threads long so I can tie them off in the back. And I'll show you how I do that again. I'm going to just move this clip to the edge so it's not in my way. And starting at that mark, got my threads long, and I'm just going to start top stitching without back stitching. Now just move your zipper out of the way. Make sure your lining is staying where it needs to be. Follow that curve around. All the way to that other mark. Do not backstitch. Pull your threads long and cut your threads long. And I lost my clip. Okay. Okay, so can you guys see my top stitching there? So on this side, you're going to grab your bobbin thread here, and you are going to just give it a little tug, and that is going to bring up a little teeny tiny loop. And what that loop is, you're going to see my top thread coming through. I'm going to pull my top thread to the back. Same with on this side. Uh-oh, what did I have going on here? There we go. I got an extra little loop there somehow, but oh well. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to tie those threads off in 3 or 4 knots. What this is going to do is we will finish our top stitching here momentarily, and you'll see that it will give a nice seamless line like we didn't start and stop. So tie that off in 3 or 4 knots, nice and tight. And then trim close to those knots. Same with the other side. This gives it a really nice professional look, I think. And because I'm using a bonded thread, I'm actually just going to take my my lighter, and just kind of melt those threads a little bit, because it forms a little kind of melted knot there, so I know that those threads aren't going to go anywhere. Just like that. All right. So that takes us to the end of page 17. Now we're moving on to page 18. So this is where we want to make sure we're not mixing up our middle and our top panels. So we are going to be working with our back middle panels. Put your back top panel to the side for now. And this is where we're going to have to make those front marks. So I'm going to go back to the beginning for those marks and make sure I get them right. So back middle. We want to, from the bottom, where did my ruler go? Measure in 1 inch in and a 1/2 inch up and draw a line with a pen that you can wipe away, but you can see. 1 inch in. Oh, that's kind of a crooked one. What the heck did I do there? Look how bad I cut that one. Holy moly, let me fix that quickly. You are going to want to make sure your cutting is good here. Look how far off I was. My goodness. So let's fix that up. Across the bottom here. Okay. So 1 inch in, 1/2 inch up. That's a better shape. And you don't want these, you want to be able to see these. So I'm going to make them really dark. I don't want to accidentally wash them away because we are going to need them here momentarily. Okay, so now we're going to find our top and bottom centers of this piece. So again, this is the back middle panel. So fold it in half. Snip. Oops. Don't snip your fingers, Brandy. And the top. So this is one where we have the markings on the back side as well. Okay. So this is going to go like so. I'm actually going to undo this. I think this made, no, maybe it didn't make it easier. Okay. We are going to flip this. So I'm going to go back to page 19. Yeah. We're going to match up that middle center with the middle of our zipper, and this is not going to feel natural because our curves are going opposite directions, but trust me, just work with it and it's going to work out. So you're going to see how this is going to kind of pop up this way because I'm making this go opposite what that curve looks like it wants to do. So, but that is exactly what we want. So down and under, and down and under. Same with the opposite side. Down and under. You'll see where it goes straight here? It almost perfectly lines up with that zipper tab. Did I skip a step? Just a sec here. Okay. Right sides together, centered, based in place. We're going to go ahead and we're going to baste that in place with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I think I said page 19 before. So again, just basting once again. Pull out of the way a little bit. And follow that curve around. So this is the most time-consuming part of this bag. The rest of it goes together so fast. Oops. Okay. Okay. So that is completing step 10. And now what we want to do, or we're on to step 10. We want to grab another one of our panels here. Okay, this is where I almost mixed things up before. So we want to flip this over so our lining is right side up, because we want to make sure that these are going to go right sides together. So we'll find our top and bottom centers of another back lining panel. You don't really need the bottom center. Put it right, make sure your lining, pocket lining pieces are right sides together and match up that center, so that is going right side of the lining with the wrong side of the zipper tape. So that was the right side. We flipped it over so our lining is exposed, and we're going to make our lining pieces go right sides together and clip it in place. And when I originally did this, I put this on the opposite side. It doesn't work. Okay, so that's what it has. And then we have those 3/4 of an inch vertical marks there, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to sew that in place with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance between those marks. Cooking something upstairs and it smells heavenly. I bumped my camera a little bit. Let me just move it down. There we go. Everybody's still there? We're still doing good? So 3/8 of an inch from that 3/4 of an inch mark. With your zipper foot on. And then we're about to see some magic happen. I'm excited. Okay, we're almost to that other side. Oh, something smells so good upstairs. My goodness. So that's what we got, and we're going to do something similar again. Let me just, I'm not going to the, on the wrong side, fold the, Okay, so for our back pocket panel pieces, once again, our lining pieces here, we're going to put some glue down at that 3/4 of an inch mark. Once again, I'm just going to use some tape here. Same with the opposite side. We're going to fold that down to that line, just like so. Oops, it's a little too far. You want to get it as straight as you possibly can. This is why those markings are so incredibly important. Stick. I'm going to actually just put a few clips there just to hold that in place. Okay, on the wrong side, got that. So now we're going to flip this up like so. Let me just double check this, because this gets confusing. So we got this kind of flipped up like so. Bring the side edges of both of the back pocket panels together such that they are lined on the sides. Okay, so that's talking this thing here. So what we want to do, so this is kind of up and out of the way right now. I'm going to just kind of tuck this exterior piece out of the way. And you can see, and this exterior piece out of the way, and see how the lining panels aren't aligned? We're going to make them aligned. So you're going to bring them up, so those those glued folded edges, we're bringing to match up. And then this is going to help us get that 3D effect. I'm actually going to use a clip there to help hold that in place. Very important. Keep your exteriors out of the way and match that up like so, and clip in place. A few clips, and you'll see that these will be exactly the same height then. And this is creating that 3D zipper. We're going to do the same on the opposite side. Kind of make sure your exteriors are out of the way, and we're going to bring the two aligning pieces up so they match. We want those folded edges that we glued under to come up and match, like so. Get in there. And clip in place, and down the sides. Whoops. Now you'll see when we look at the right side, see what it's doing? It's making it kind of 3D-ish. So now what we want to do is we want to close this up, but we are going to leave the bottom open because that is what it's neat, isn't it, Diane? The markings are worth doing to get this. We're going to leave this bottom open because this is actually our turning hole for the bag, and what we are going to be finishing the bottom off is through the opening of the bag. That is why on your, if you're doing a zipper pocket on your lining piece, you don't have to leave an opening in the bottom of the zipper, because we're going to do the opening on this exterior pocket. So now what we're going to do is, let me just see, we are going to sew down these sides here with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. We want to get this to almost completely close up and sew all the way down the sides, leaving the back bottom part open. I'll close up. Oh yeah, 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm just double checking my. Absolutely would be lost without the markings, and that's why I double checked them. And again, I made mistakes just because I find the naming of the pieces very confusing in this pattern for some reason. They play with my brain. But, okay, so again, want to make sure you are not sewing through any of these exterior pieces at all. We're just doing this lining piece at 3/8 of an inch. Leaving that bottom open. Again, I'm holding my exteriors out of the way. and you'll see that your zipper foot, again, zipper foot helps here because you're getting really close to those zipper tabs. Make sure it's nice and even before you finish sewing all the way up and back stitch. And do the same on the other side. This is such a cool technique. I learned so much with this. And again, this is only my second one making it. That's why I'm kind of second guessing some things, because I'm not 100% familiar with this pattern, even though I've made one. I'm sure by my third one, I'll be golden, because I will definitely be making more of these. I think they're going to be an amazing seller. So I'm getting really close to my zipper tab here. And you'll want your zipper foot on here because it definitely helps get close to that. So all the way down. Believe it or not, we're almost done for the day, guys, because I'm gonna show you one more thing with this, and then you're gonna repeat it for the other zipper for homework. All right, so I'll unclip all of this, and look at that zipper. How cool is that? We have it going the right way. We have our lining with the opening in the bottom, and it's perfect. Like, seriously, look at that. Okay, next, so now we are on to page 19. I keep saying page 19. I'm going to remark my markings here so I can see them, because they're starting to wipe away. These are really important. Half inch. Was it supposed to be a half inch? Again, I'm double checking my markings just because they have to be right. Yeah, they're supposed to be a half inch. Okay, here's some more magic. Are you ready? So what we want to do, we're going to use some double-sided tape, and double-sided tape is really helpful here, I promise you, because you definitely don't want this to shift. So I'm going to take 2 small pieces of double-sided tape, and we're going to put them just below that that mark we made there, 1 inch in, half inch up. You need a longer piece than that. Same with on the other side. I want to, my line washed away a little bit. Okay. I know it seems fiddly, but it's really not. Just make sure you have your markings right and you will be good. Okay. So this folded edge we have right here, so the exterior piece, we are going to bring up and stick it to that double-sided tape at that line, like so. See what that's doing? And secure that with a clip for now. Same on the other side. And bring it, actually, do you know what, the seam allowance here, trim it down. Sorry, I should have said that before because it's going to get in the way. Trim down that lining seam allowance and then do this. Otherwise it'll get too bulky. I got to do it on the other side too, because I can feel the bulkiness in there. So pocket seam allowance, trim down. I'm terrible when it comes to trimming down seam allowances, but you definitely have to for this one. Okay, and bring that up. See what we're doing? Don't you love the zipper pocket, Rhonda? It's so good. I surprisingly love this pattern. I was pleasantly surprised by it. I'm not usually a crossbody girl, so I'm just making sure my placement is good here. My zipper tape kind of fiddled its way down, so I will cut another piece, probably because I unstuck it and then restuck it. So take your time here to make sure this is perfect. And up to that line. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to flip this up, so we're only working with the exterior. Okay, so we got part of that taped. Now, this looks kind of confusing, but do you see what I'm doing here? I'm only working with that bottom seam, okay? And we're going to sew across here, almost within that crease. Right along here, just to seal that up. So you want to get not quite to the zipper tab. You're going to get as close as you can to here. It's going to catch some of that lining and just sew across there, and same with on the other side. So again, you're not sewing the lining, you're not sewing through all layers, you're flipping this up and you're just catching this seam right here. I hope that makes sense on both sides. So let's go do that. I am actually think I'm just going to put it to Tommy because I think that'll be more beneficial for you just to see him and what I'm doing here, because I don't think you're going to be able to see it from the other side. So again, I'm flipping this up and I'm just catching this seam right in here. Right there. You can kind of see the guide of where you want to go, but it is 3/8 from this one right here. You want to go as far as you can go in without catching the rest of the exterior here. So you're just kind of going right in the groove here, almost to the zipper tab without catching anything, because you don't want any nips or tucks. So almost to that little line we drew right there. Okay, so that's one side done. I'll show you what that looks like. You guys see that? So it's just right there. We want to do the same on the opposite side. So once again, just working with, I gotta get my orientation right. Okay, gotta fold this down better. Fold this down better because it should be right down to that line. Make sure everything's staying where you need it to go. And up. Okay, I got it that time. And I'm going to sew it from this side just because that's going to be easier. So you're not going to really be able to see what I'm doing. But, oh, no, which way do I want to do this? I want my zipper foot on this side. Okay. So you may need a hump jumper here. So this is a little bit awkward. Make sure nothing is shifting like mine is. Just really important to keep that shape. So I am actually readjusting, putting it where I need it to go, and I'm actually just going to use a clip right here to hold that in place underneath. Okay, that'll help me a lot. Fold this back. I know it's fiddly, but it's worth it, I promise. And we're going to go right in that crease again. I said you may need a hump jumper here. I'm hoping I don't. No, I don't have it. I'm good. I'm hoping we're good. Whew, that's the hardest part, I promise you. Now we can see how I did. I think. Oh. Hello. Come back. Let's play a table. Let me fix my lighting. I accidentally turned off every single camera. I can only run 3 cameras at a time, so it's kind of really a pain in my rear. And if I accidentally turn them out, then I get that zoomy thing that we get. Okay, so if we did this right, and I did, you can see how that's pretty much closed in those sides. Make sure the zipper opens and closes, which it does. And now I believe we're going to finish off this top stitch. Yeah. So you can see where we started and stopped our stitches there. So we're going to top stitch this in place right along there. And we're going to make sure our needle ends or stops down in that starting stitch pull the threads long, and then we're going to pull it to the back again, and that is going to give us a nice and seamless stitch all the way around that pocket. So let's go ahead and do that. Yay, Kathy! Okay, so let's do this. We're almost done for today, guys. All right. So I still have my zipper foot on because it helps get nice and close, so I can backstitch. I'm going to do the top stitch, backstitch at the start here because I'm starting at the raw edge. But I'm going to make sure I stop with my needle down in that very first top stitch that we ended in before. This is so hard to see because I am using white thread. So needle down in that first stitch, pull my threads long, and cut it, and we'll tie that off here momentarily. We're going to do the same on the opposite side. Okay. Actually, I'm going to do it this way because I want to be, that's not going to matter. 1/8 of an inch, back stitch on that raw edge, and then make sure my needle goes down, if I can see it, in that starting stitch of my original top stitch, and pull my threads along. Perfect. Okay, so see, now we can go ahead and find that bobbin thread. Uh-oh, where are you? And pull that top thread through. Something happened to me here. What happened to me here? Okay, I've got too many threads going on. Is this one? I lost track of my bobbin thread. There it is. So I pulled that one through, and that, see how that gives me, like, I don't know if you can see it because I'm using white thread. It's given me a seamless line without any back stitching there. I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. Pull that top thread through. I have too many loops going on here. There it is. And then you can go ahead and tie those threads off with 3 or 4 knots, just like we did before. Snip, trim up these excess ones here. Way more fun than cooking and cleaning. I need to do that still too though. Oh my goodness, my house is a disaster. Again, I'm gonna melt my threads to make a big knot. Ow, that was hot. And that is what we should have. Can you guys see that? See, we have a nice seamless top stitch. We have this pocket with an opening in the bottom for turning later. Now, for homework, you are going to rinse and repeat the exact same thing using your top zip, these 2 linings, and your other zipper. So it's going to be wherever I did with my other zipper. I already lost it. So you're going to do the exact same thing along this curved edge, but you do not need to leave the lining of this one open. You can seal it up because we only need the one turning hole. So that'll be for homework, doing the other zipper. Can you guys do that? Following the exact same way that we did this one. Make sure your marks are all good. You can see how that is closed up all of our sides there. She looks pretty good. You can tell I used a really thick vinyl in these corners. It worked a little bit better with the, because my Galaxy Customs vinyl is a little bit thick there, but it's still okay. So yeah, so do the other zipper. And the back panel we've already done. And then if you guys can please Complete your lining panels however you want your lining panels to be, whether it's doing the card slots like in the pattern. Again, I'm going to put in a zipper pocket with my overlay like I usually do, and my usual slip pocket, but you can do whatever you want in the linings. So please, on your lining panels, make whatever pockets you like, so we have them all ready to go, because next week we will be doing the top. We might actually get it all done next week. We'll see. So yeah, are there any questions about this? You guys think you can do it? I think it looks pretty awesome. Seriously, look at that. It's pretty cool. Any questions? I knew we wouldn't be a full class. Again, if you have any questions, the tutorial is up if you need it. When you're doing your zipper, make sure this other zipper, make sure your zipper pulls are both going the same direction. Make sure they're both closing to the left. Make sure they're both going the same way, closing to the left. Whoops, the other left, this side here. All right. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I didn't make it too confusing for everybody. Just wait for the chat to catch up. So yeah, not too much homework, maybe about half an hour. The lining pockets are pretty easy to do. And then this top part actually looks like it took a long time, but it doesn't when you don't have to explain it. So is this a Connect vinyl? No, this is, see, it's kind of got a speckle vinyl. My friend Sonia, she lives down in the States. She sent this vinyl to me for my birthday last year, and I have just been waiting for the perfect project to use with it. And this one, I just think looks so good. So I think it's going to be really, really good with this one. I don't know what this vinyl is called. I don't know where she got it. All I know is that she gave it to me. So. All right. So if there are no questions, was this a good class? Did you guys enjoy it? I wasn't too confusing. I know I mixed up the markings a little bit, so please, 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 when you're marking them, make sure you're double checking those measurements, okay? As you go, just in case I said them wrong. Very important when I'm doing these classes to always follow along with the pattern as well. That's why I'm trying to tell you what page and what steps we are on. Just because sometimes my words, I say something different than what's in my head, especially, I don't know. So mainly when it comes to numbers. So make sure you're double checking the numbers as we work along. If you notice I say a wrong number, please do always speak up, because sometimes in my head I'm saying a different number than my voice is saying. So yeah. All right. And feel free to share in the Facebook group your progress. I did not set up an event because Facebook is just being super weird. So just share it on the main page. That is perfectly fine. All right. Kathy, you're going to love sewing this one. Again, it seems like it was so complicated to do the zipper, but it's actually really, really super simple. So, oh, and for homework also, put on your nameplate. I think I did mine 2 inches up from the bottom here. If you're going to be doing a nameplate, just make sure you do not catch this pocket in it. You want to flip this out of the way and put your nameplate on here wherever you're going to put it. Okay, so yeah, I think I did mine 2 inches up centered, and it worked out good. But again, that's different for everybody because everybody's nameplates are different sizes. So yeah, I want to make sure. Let me just double check something. I always think, nope. So yeah, this is what we're going for. It's cool. All right. So I will see you guys all next week. I am actually headed out of cell phone range for the weekend, so I will not be able to help you. Diane, because you've made this bag, if anybody has an issue, would you mind them reaching out to you? I don't want to volunteer you anything, but if not, shoot me an email or a message, and I will get back to you when I am back in town on Sunday. Oh, Wanda, you'll find the perfect ones. I know it. So yeah, if you email me the next 3 days and or message me and I don't answer you, I'm not ignoring you. I just have no cell phone service. My husband's making me go into the wilderness, camping and fishing and stuff. So yeah, so yeah. Okay, perfect. So Diane has made this bag. She jumped ahead of the class and got it done. So Diane, make sure you reach out to Diane. In the Facebook group, she comes up as Larry, right, Diane? So look for Larry on Facebook. Larry, what's the name you go by on Facebook, Diane? Larry Smith, is it? You'll see her in the group always. Yeah, Larry Smith in the Facebook group, and reach out to her. And yeah, she's just incognito under a different name there. So Larry Smith in Facebook, and that'll be Diane. If you have any questions, she'll be able to help you along. She's amazing. So thank you so much, Diane. I don't think any of my admins, they're all super busy with some life stuff going on right now, so I'm not sure who is making this one. Rhonda, I don't think you're making it, are you, Rhonda? Oh, is Smith your maiden name, Diane? Oh, awesome. So yeah, please do reach out to Diane, or I will answer your questions on Sunday if you have any. All right? Okay, everybody, I am now going to go for dinner with my uncles to talk about my God-rich adventures. So thank you, everybody. I love you all, and I will see you next week. Okay, thanks again, everybody. Bye.